Hello, hello.
Hey everybody, sorry I'm a minute late. I know I'm a minute late. Hope some people are here. Um, I I see myself. I'm not Oh, I have to hit pause. Oh, I don't want to do that. Hold on. I just heard myself saying that I was a minute late. Now I'm going to be later talking. I'm going. So I'm traveling tomorrow. So I don't know. Maybe I don't look as crappy as I think I do, but I haven't shaved in a few days. So um, I'm wearing my magician shirt, my at-home magician shirt. It says, "I'm the magician here to blow your mind." But I'm actually the marketing magician. Today we're going to talk about killer offers, about how to create offers and kind of what that means. I'll be honest with you. Uh, I don't think in these terms as much as I should. I've had T4Me for almost 10 years, 9 years. So it's been a while since I've really, created an offer. T4Me is an offer, right? It's, buy traffic that will convert on your website, but it's not like what we're going to be discussing now. And for some very important reasons, which you'll see. I usually like to do a magic trick. I guess we can do that. Is there anybody here, Ross?
Yeah, we've got some people here.
First of all,
And
for the people that are here, two things. Please tell Ross happy birthday. Just type it in the comments. Today is his birthday. I don't
44th. 44.
44th. Next year is his Trump birthday. He'll be 45. Um, so mine is in October, but Ross's birthday is today, August 16th. Let me say happy birthday to Ross. Once again, happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you.
And he's working today because we love you guys so much and we want to help so much. But it's a Tuesday and his birthday happened to fall on a Tuesday, and I'm traveling tomorrow. So like I don't know if I was just saying I don't know if I'm going to be here next Tuesday, although I did come up with a pretty good idea. But yeah, you're working on your birthday. What kind of crap is this?
Actually, the moment we finish this, I'm done. I'm going to be going out to lunch with my mom. We're going to do just some quick like grocery shopping type stuff, and then I'm going to play video games all afternoon and ignore my responsibilities.
Great. I would need some weed if I was gonna actually be able to
Well, I
really
have that
ignore
too,
my.
actually.
It is legal in Florida now, right?
Well, it's legal for me. I've got the medical card to get stoned whenever I want.
Yeah. Um, it doesn't work for me. It just knocks me out. Like if I don't like smoking. You know when we talk, I cough half the time just
I
from
know.
breathing the
Well,
air.
and to be honest, as an ex-smoker and ex-vapor, I can't inhale anything. It's really bad for me. And it could lead me back to those terrible habits. So as an athlete, I have no interest in inhaling anything. And to just tell the honest truth, I'll never be a stoner because it knocks me on my face. I go to sleep. So that's actually the only time I take it is about half hour before I go to bed. And I eat
and
something and then I go to sleep.
and then I want to like it. And I mean, I don't know why we're talking about it, but the last two times I did it, um, the 2 times ago was in Vegas with our dear friend who passed away, Kevin Parlin. He or somebody brought him some chocolate from California. We were in Vegas, and he was like, "Dude, you don't do this a lot. Just take this much. Like one square is considered a dose, and maybe he was a big user and he would do 5 square, like the whole bar, not the whole
Oh,
bar, not
wow.
the whole bar,
No,
but like.
but I no, I but I can't do that. I can't even take a serving. It's too much for me. So I'm understanding what you're saying is my wow. That's a lot.
Serving, and I was pretty much hallucinating. I remember sitting at a restaurant with him, and I heard somewhere in the restaurant somebody would say dry ice. I was like, what? And then somebody else said, I've got my hand in my, it's not that cold, but I got my hand in my hoodie. And I'm like, I hear somebody else, dry ice. I'm like, what is going on? And then, and then Kevin sitting across from me, like, pushed the ice towards me and said, "Dry ice." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm able to tell the future. Is that what's happening?"
Ah.
And then he was like, "Dude, are you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Hey, can you pass the salt?" And again, I was all comfy in my hoodie. And he's like, "Hey, can you pass the salt?" And I'm like, "I don't have any hands." I just meant like, I'm not gonna use, I'm not willing to use. That's how I said it, but like in my mind, I was like, no, I'm too comfortable. I'm not lending you my hands for that.
Right.
And yeah, so I
And it
remember
came out
that.
as I've got no hands.
And then we got in the car, and I had to close my eyes, and like I felt like I could see the road and lights even when my eyes were closed. And then I got sick as soon as we got out of the car. I threw up, and then I was fine. And then so like a year later, I was in Costa Rica, and I don't know if I ever told you this story, but I was in Costa Rica, and somebody had some
I think
brownies.
I have heard this story
They
actually.
they had some brownies they made, and they're like, "Hey, these are pretty strong." So like they were doing, like, say this size, if that's a rectangle. I did a, a quarter of that. It's literally like a pinch of it. And my wife was like, "Ah, you could do more than that." I'm like, "No, I'm really going to just do that little bit." So they're all sitting around at the restaurant that we go to. I could tell they're having a good time. I'm not feeling anything. So I'm like, "Hey guys, I got to go to the bathroom." I get up, and as I get up, the blood rushes to my head, and so does the effects. And by the time I get to the bathroom, the the tile walls are wavy, like hallucinating. And this is from weed. And I was like, "Oh man, I'm really feeling it." So I sit back down. They bring some spaghetti, and like I've got my head like this, and I'm like really concerned that I'm gonna fall asleep into the spaghetti. Like this is like I'm just watching them, like I don't want to fall in the spaghetti. So I'm like, "Guys, I'm gonna go lay down." By the way, you're getting this instead of a magic trick today. Um,
This is a hell of a story though.
and I say, "I'm gonna go lay down," and they're like, "What?" Like we're in a restaurant, but we're in Costa Rica where I used to live, and there's a pool at the restaurant with pool chairs, and that's what I meant. So they're like, "Oh, okay." And so I get up, I take 3 steps. On the fourth step, I think I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it another 20 steps. So I turn around, and on the pivot of me turning around, I pass out. I fall over backwards, boom, and I hit my head on the ground, and the whole restaurant, apparently, I wasn't awake for this. You know how you see in movies when everybody like it goes quiet and everybody goes. I was the center of that attention, and a few minutes later, I'm awoken by some huge Australian guy. He sits me up like a baby, and he's got my hands, and he drops my hands, and he's like, "Sir, are you okay?" I'm sorry, Australian accent. Sir, are you okay?" I don't know how that was, but I'm like, I literally thought, am I in a magic show? Like I had no idea. Like I was hypnotized and waking up from a magic show or something like that. So anyway, I'm fine now, and that was the last time I put that in my body because I don't want that to happen again. So anyway, there you go, marijuana story. So has anybody said happy birthday to you?
Quite a few happy birthdays. And one, what are we doing? So I just answered that. So actually, we are going to be talking about offers today.
Yeah.
And how to make great ones, because I've noticed a bunch of stuff. I don't know that you guys are aware, so let me remind you. I do a lot with Traffic for Me because Harris is one of my closest friends, and I've been with them for almost 7 years now, doing all kinds of different stuff, but mostly running their ads. But my background is traffic stuff, and I became a copywriter, so I'm kind of a jack of many trades. So what's important for you guys to know about Ross is that I actually specifically operate in a bunch of different markets to make sure that I can see not just what's happening in my tiny little piece of the internet, which is what most teachers or experts do, I actually play in as many as possible. So what that does is it gives me a very unique view of what's actually working right now, and not just what's hitting business opportunity, but for those of you that have health offers. I know a couple of you that wished me a happy birthday have offers in the health space. I can help you too. That's why when I'm here for these, that's where I come from, is trying to give you not necessarily generic advice, but what I'm seeing from multiple different perspectives, not just one tiny little outlook. So today we're going to be talking about offers. And actually, Harris and I have been studying probably the best book on offers there is over recent weeks. So our minds were on this, and we thought we'd use what we've talked about and what we've thought of to help you guys.
Yeah, man. Like Ross recommended this book to me, and it's only a year old, or give or take. It's called, and we'll drop a link in there in a minute. It's called $100 Million Offers. We're not teaching that. We're not. We're going to talk about not necessarily different type of offers, but with this in mind, it's just got me really excited about building killer offers. And nobody sitting here listening to us probably is thinking that they'll ever have an offer that does $100 million. You never know. You never know where it can lead. That might not be your goals, and that's okay. And in fact, I don't know that it's mine. I wouldn't mind. I don't want to turn down the universe giving me $100 million, but like I'm not. I've never been money motivated. I'm motivated to a certain degree. Obviously, I mean, somewhat money motivated, but I'm more motivated on like inspiring people and helping people. I guess make money, but my personal life slogan is live life to the fullest and inspire other people to do the same. And I've never liked the idea of just being a motivational speaker that just talks about it. I like to do, which I feel like I do. I live in Barcelona. I perform magic. I'm trying to live my best life, right? And I want that. I just want that to inspire people, which it has here and there in my life. And then I also, I like what I like about Traffic for Me is that it helps people that are trying to make money with their website. That's what got me into, the guru game, 15, 20 years ago, is I did like it. I wanted to learn for myself. And I like the idea of bringing information to others that can help them. So speaking of the how to make money market, one of the things that really, I guess, I'm being really honest with you guys. I've gotten a little, I told you earlier in the call, a little lazy, or I guess lazy is not the right word. I mean, I built a business, Traffic for Me, that doesn't really require that we, keep creating a new offer or whatever. That's not what I do. I have a service business that that does what it says it does, and I'm right now I'm focused on cleaning up and making the quality of the service even better. But so that's something that's piece of your offers. You actually have to have a good product. But anyway, like if you're in a market of some sort, now I think 90% of my customers are in the make money online space, and 90% of them don't even really have their own offer. They're just leveraging somebody else's as an affiliate, or they're in a network marketing thing or what have you. But the three markets that we've always talked about, back in the day of being the good markets to be in, the more general market is health, wealth, or love. Health, wealth, relationship is what Hormozi says. I've always said health, wealth, or love. If your market, meaning if that's what you're selling, is how to be healthier, how to be wealthier, or how to have better relationships, then you are in a market that is always going to be desirable, no matter what happens to the economy or what have you. And then what Alex Hormozy talks about is, you want to niche that down a bit. Obviously, nobody has a business that's like, make money any way you possibly can. That's not going to happen. So a lot of you guys have a make money online. So that's now niche down. You're not saying make money with Forex exchange, make money with crypto is another one, and then that, will go down even more. For instance, using crypto as an example, we know somebody that has a $5,000 a year coaching program that teaches people how to make money with crypto with one strategy. That's it. And it's take your money, and this is how you invest in basically, it's called farming in crypto, where you let your crypto coins or tokens sit, and they pay you with more crypto coins and tokens, and then you turn those in for fiat US dollars. Anyway, so that's a pretty well niche down market. But for the example that they give, and by the way, why am I talking about market? Because you have to know, Ross likes to talk about, and which he will in a minute, like there's it's kind of like we were talking before, like it was a balance. Like if you do this, then this might go down. If you do this, then this might go up. But it's even more than that. It's more like a dartboard where you're trying to hit the bullseye. So a piece of creating a great offer is having a great market to market to. And by the way, so the example that they gave was a time management product. So let's say I've got a time management product. What's the value? Well, first of all, is that health, wealth, or relationship? I guess you would probably sell that in a way. Could be health and wealth, actually. Time management, mental health, anyway. But a time management product, that's worth what? If I say time management product, what do you think? 20, 25
$50.
Yeah. Okay. So a great time management product. Now, what if we change that to a great time management product for salespeople? Now it's worth
$200 to $500.
200 to 500. Now, if we niche it even more and say a time management product for people that sell power tools, now
it becomes a game changer for that individual. So and that's actually what raises the quality of the offer, because the level of change that you can provide, as that increases, you can absolutely, and you should, charge more. So if you're going to someone in a super specific situation and framing the words that you use around that, it not only should you charge more, but it becomes a much easier sale too, which is kind of the magic, right? That's what we all want.
And you become, for that guy and for that small market, you become the only one doing it. You're like the blue ocean strategy. You're now the only time management product for power tool salesmen. So that I don't know if power tools is a good example. I don't know how that market works, but whatever. Let's use something even better. Financial planner, right? They make a lot of money, or a hedge fund salesperson, somebody that's getting people to invest in their hedge funds, and it's they make a 10,000 a year commission, a 10,000 a month commission based on whatever happens. Like they have huge purchasing power, and they are very willing to. They work 20-hour days sometimes, so they're hungry, they're in pain, and they're able to leverage that time management, and you're able to make the argument that the more you're able to manage your time, the more money you'll make, and therefore my time management tool for hedge fund salespeople is worth $5,000, whereas it's essentially the same product with dressing of a $20 to $50 product. And I want to bring up, there's somebody,
and if it works, they'll beg to give you the money, which is even better.
Only one, because you're the only one selling it.
Well, and you're screaming to there, and the credibility boost is huge too, being the only one. The only one that, and you know, it comes out as though you really care about this person and their exact problem. They don't necessarily think about the fact that you have a $50 thing you're giving them for $5,000. What they want is the solution, and they don't give a shit about how much it cost you because they couldn't find it until you found them. So they're just happy to get their solution. They give you the money, they get the thing, it does what you said, you are a superhero.
So an important thing about like that example we just gave is, you know, the market that you're in, or the sub market that you're in, the niche market that you're in, has to be, you have to be able to target it. And, you know, Ross and I work online. I don't think we could easily target that hedge fund guy online, maybe with LinkedIn or something like that. But that becomes that might be a different, more in person, or you know, making sales appointments on the phone, or you know, it's or doing workshops or whatever. I don't know what it's going to be, because that's not Facebook. So depending on how you are marketing also depends on what you can market. For instance, we have a client that we've been talking to. They have a diabetes offer, they have a longevity offer for baby boomers. We recommended that they drop the boomers and market to an older person, younger than just boomer, like 44, Ross's age now, 44 and up. Or 40 and up, really.
Well, to be honest, the problems that they were talking about were things that I have. And right. I was like, I'm not a boomer, but I need what you're doing.
But I want to be really clear is in that that's because they were buying the Groove Solos health list, which is not only boomers and it's not only diabetics. So we're like, if you want to use that list, you need an offer that's wider. But if you want to use Facebook, which we highly recommend for that sort of thing, you would be able to niche it down even more. And now it feels like your product has more value for that person. With diabetes might be hard to target on Facebook. So, but baby boomers are super easy to target on Facebook, for instance. And then you can even look up ones that have certain types of ailments and what have you, and maybe you find that the diabetes or not, we don't know. But anyway, that's a piece of it, is being able to, your market, you've got to be able to get to, right? And that's usually how a lot of people go into business. A lot of people go into business like, hey, this is what I've done all my life, now I want to help service that business. You know, this is something I'm familiar with, I want to help service that business. So now the market's in place. What are the components of, what's the main goal of the offer, really?
You asking me or them?
I'm asking you. We're teaching, okay, so I'm asking you.
Generally, what you want your offer to do is to solve a clear and present pain that is obvious to the individual you're attempting to sell it to. Let me talk about the bullseye a little bit more, because I think that's a really big deal. So I have been obsessed with balance over the last couple of years, and it leaked into my business. So what I realized is something, maybe the unsexiest thing I'll ever say: balance is how you sell stuff on the internet. And what happens is there's this magical place we've called the bullseye. It is not necessarily what we're going to call it if we end up like teaching it ever, but since we're teaching it to you guys, we'll leave it with bullseye for now. Where you say all the right thing to get the absolute highest conversion out of the people that you're targeting. What happens is when we sell stuff, we say words, we attempt to convince somebody that we have something that will solve their problems. And if we use a word that person doesn't like, they drop off. So the average is roughly 1 in 100 people ends up buying. But if you get this bullseye messaging really right, you could do 5, 10, 15, 20% conversion. And you can really, really hit the nail on the head and just say all the right things at the right moments to have the largest amount of that 100 people end up buying your product. And the more you have that, the more options you have available to you to drive people to your products. Because if you know you can sell 7 out of 100 at $50 each, you know that for every 100 people you send, you could spend roughly $250 knowing that you'll walk away with $100 every time you're able to do it. That's the advertising math equation you kind of have to consider. Whether you're buying traffic from us or Facebook or Google, it doesn't matter. Once you know that number, you know what you are able to do. So when crafting an offer, there are ways to make an offer much more desirable than the standard that you have in your industry right now. And that's kind of the thing Harris and I have been looking at and very focused on over the last couple of weeks. So there are ways to make your offer so desirable that it's almost, people would feel dumb to say no. And if you can do that, that then gives you the leverage to get closer to that bullseye even faster because your offer is better. An example would be this is the offer no guru would ever do on purpose. And that's where, I'm going to give you a $300 course, but I'm going to let you give me $30 and you can pay me the rest out of your results. No guru would do that under normal circumstances because most people will not have the results. However, if you know that your product's good enough, that is huge. That is an absolute game changer. If you would be comfortable making an offer like that, knowing that most people would end up giving you the money in the end, which is absolutely not the case in most circumstances, that's a powerful offer. That's also taking much more risk upon yourself, which then proves your credibility to people that see the offer. So the words that you say now become amplified because your offer is that much better. This can be done through using all the right words. It can be done through shortening time. So Harris's first product was 12-week intensive, right? That was the first one, wasn't it?
The first one that succeeded.
Okay. Minutia, let's not go there. Now I would absolutely pull him aside and be like, dude, let's make it 12-day. Because 12 weeks is just too damn long. So let's do it in 12 days, or even better, let's do it in 2 days. Let's do 6 sessions, one each day for 2 days. Give them a 1-day break in the middle. Let it be 3 days total. We can be done with it, and then we can make the next offer and continue with what we do. Because time is a really big thing. Also, the less time it takes to get the desired result, the more you can charge for it. So again, that comes into play as well. Creating great offers is about meeting the needs of your prospect in a way that they see as desirable. The more desirable your offer, the higher the likelihood people are going to give you the money for it. You also have to keep in mind that features have very little value in the end. So when you're looking at convincing someone to buy your stuff, focus on what it does, not what it is. A lot of us get lost in what it is because we're so excited about what we've created or what we built for people or the product we dreamed up. We may not necessarily be the builder. E-commerce is a thing, and people come up with innovative products now in the internet age. You can come up with a product that no one else would have, you could get into Walmart and no one would ever buy. An example would be the avocado tools you see.
Tools.
Yeah, where it's specifically for avocado. And, it's kind of a buzz vegetable right now, but it slices it open, it pulls out the core, and then it automatically pulls out the avocado in a way that's really nice and very easy to use. It's a messy vegetable anyway. Those things are like $10, $12, but they cost like $0.25 to make. So whoever did this, even though it's a very specialized product, selling it on the internet just makes sense because it can be from anywhere. And there are avocado fanatics out there that would be happy to have it. It's a bad example, but it is.
You mean a knife? Are you talking about a knife?
But dude, it's little cool things like that they would never have been able to take off before just at Kmart or Walmart.
I am very good at opening an avocado. I'm going to have to find out what you're talking about. I know how to do it. Nobody else in my house. They have to come to me for my avocado prowess. I'm going to have to look it up. But anyway, now you're giving them my power. So I was actually looking for you also to say something that you say a lot, which is that you want to build an offer that, in the eyes of your prospect, makes you the only or the obvious choice.
The obvious choice, yes. Well, I've always referenced that through marketing, so I didn't think of it as the offer thing, but you're right. That is a thing too.
Yeah.
Where your offer is unique enough and stands out enough that you become the obvious choice. And an example is the guru thing that I mentioned that most gurus would not do, because most customers, I don't want to tell the story because I actually have told it before, but I had a customer who literally said, I need what your product does. I said, normally I don't do this, but I just sold that product. She's like, yeah, that's how I found you. I bought it. Have you looked at it? No. Ma'am, please hang up the phone. This was a teleseminar. That's how old I am. Please hang up the phone. Go open the product. Please take a look at it. It's 90 pages. You'll get what you need pretty quickly. Just go through what you bought. You don't need my help personally. Just go through what you paid for. And we're talking 50% plus that buy a digital product. They're buying it to feel good that they bought it, not because they're actually going to do what it takes to get the result. Life takes over, they get busy, they forget about the thing, and then they never open your product. So
something like 70
gurus,
or 90%, 70 to 90% with a
I'm
book,
being
with just
nice.
a book.
Yes.
With
It's
a
huge.
regular old fashioned piece of paper kill tree book. Yeah,
So that's the thing. I mean, so offering something like that, you automatically knock off the people that don't open the product. So you've really got to have another way to really monetize an offer like that. It's got to be an opener, not the end result. If your end result is to get someone into your $300 product, I would strongly recommend never selling it for $30 and saying, pay me when you get the result I promised you. But that's a big play. If someone actually did that, it would be huge. It would be absolutely massive. If you were willing to write off 90% of the people not paying you that extra X amount of dollars, it would be massive. The world would notice no matter what market you're in. And
I just wanted to read some of the comments. Jared, who had last week, I think we did a fixture funnel, or some recently, the Blue Ocean one, the BLUOCN one. He said that his business name was inspired by Alex's book. I don't remember Alex talking about Blue Ocean Strategy, but I'd read the Blue Ocean Strategy a while ago. That's why I knew it. I don't remember picking it up out of the book, but I don't have the book yet. I've only listened to the audio. I'm waiting on the book to arrive tomorrow, hopefully before I jump on an airplane, because I'd like to read the book and listen to it at the same time. And he said he couldn't put it down. So yeah, and then I can't see anybody else's comments. It's so weird. I see that there's 19 comments. I see there's 10 people on the call right now. I guess most people just said
change how it shows. If you go, it's probably showing most relevant. You want to change it to. Oh, yeah, they changed how it works.
But you saw some happy birthdays, right?
Yeah, if you go to click overview, overview doesn't have anything. I've got live chat. Yeah, I don't know what to do for you, buddy. I've got all my happy birthdays, lots of them. And Rachel mentioned that she's in health.
She's in hell.
Health, HEALTH, as far as the space her business is functioning in.
Oh well, cool. We'll tell Rachel. Write to. Have we done a fixture funnel for you? Have we looked at your offer? If you want, write to Harris@trafficforme.com. And let me know, and we'll do it next week. We'll put you up on the screen, not you, but your website up on the screen, and tell you however we can help. So the biggest thing we want you to get out of this call, this live stream today, honestly, and it seems like a couple people are fans of the book, is either get the book, go to acquisition.com and get the free course. And you've got to think like, how does this apply to me? Like I'm trying to apply this, some of it to, me as a performer, magician, and it doesn't necessarily fit. Like entertainment is not health, wealth, or relationship, really. You could stretch it, but it's a different, entertainment marketing is different, but there's still a lot to get from just, you know, thinking about how to pick your market, because even a magician, and I know a lot of full-time magicians, they have to choose a market, and they have to say, which market am I going to go into that has the, you know, that's going to fulfill me the most and has purchasing power at the same time. Like there's a lot of magicians that do wedding magic, and that's because there's, you know, at a wedding they're ready to spend, you know, $1,000 for the day, or 2,000 or 1,500 or 500, whatever it is. You know, they're ready to spend because they've already spent 30-40,000 for the wedding itself. They're just adding on another bit of entertainment. So anyway, that's what I would say is have a look at it, see how it applies to you. We're getting a lot out of having discussions with it for the direction that we're going.
The stuff that we're working on.
Some of the stuff outside of T4Me that we're working on. So we thought you would too, and I hope this call has been valuable. We're beyond the 30-minute mark. So bye. No, was there? In my comments, I didn't see any questions.
I generally answer them when I see them, but yeah, there's nothing we need to address. I think we delivered a buttload of value. We were just very concise today. So yeah, if you take anything away from this, make better offers. And just remember, it's not always give me money for this thing that is an offer. Sometimes you're not enticing enough with your basic level engagement on social media. Asking someone to click a link is an offer. It's an exchange of value. So think of it that way. When you're asking someone to give them your email address, it's an offer. It's an exchange of value. So if what you have isn't killing it, make a better offer.
I did have one idea for next week. I don't want to promise this yet, but I'm going to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. It's the biggest fringe festival. There's literally 3,000 shows. I think more than half of them are comedy shows. There's a handful of magic shows, and there's full-on musicals. And I thought maybe it'd be interesting if I even am able to get decent internet there, but to discuss what I see people doing from a marketing standpoint for these events, just to take a different angle at it. I know what my friends are doing, but I wonder others that I might see, like, because I'm going to go, and there's 100,000 people that go to this thing, and I can't go to all 3,000 shows, and I wouldn't want to. So I wonder, how am I going to find out about stuff in this kind of siloed off marketplace, you know? So I don't know, maybe that'll be interesting to people to discuss. I don't know, maybe not, but if I'm able to stand at the time with the internet, maybe we do something like that and have kind of at the show live stream. It could be interesting. All right. Bye. No, right. Sorry. Anyway, thanks guys. Thanks for showing up, guys. If you, as always, if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments, or you can send them to me in email. If you just have general support questions, that goes to support@trafficforme.com. Where it doesn't go is our Facebook Messenger, because Ross watches that, and he's not support, he's marketing. So he'll just tell you.
And even better, you waste your time, because I don't know most of the things you are asking. I don't qualify the offers. I don't review the pages most of the time. Sometimes Harris calls me in, but yeah, I just don't have the information to give to you, because I'm too worried about the marketing stuff and, you know, staying where I belong. So anyway,
That's right.
Thank you all for the kind birthday wishes. I believe almost anyone who was here sent me one. So thank you. That was very nice. And I hope you all have a lovely day. We'll see you next week.
Happy birthday, Ross.